Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Mr. Shannon Puglia. He is the former head coach of Strong Vincent High School. He was a coach at the collegiate level. Currently, he's the head coach of the Keystone Academy Kings. He's also the owner of Shan Pool Sports. How you doing today, Shan?
How you doing?
All right.
Doing great.
Good. Thanks for your time today, man. I appreciate doing the interview. Let's start out. You want to tell us a little bit about Shan Pool Sports? What's that all about?
Shan Pool Sports is a program. It's a business that I started doing. I'm doing little kids leagues, doing personal training, doing tournaments, doing adult leagues. Basically, having a platform for our kids to come and learn the game, to have fun with the game, and to basically, a safe haven for them to come, and, and just, enjoy themselves.
Right. Now, is that year round? Like, is that
this year round? You know what I
Okay.
mean? I started it I established it back right before the pandemic hit, but I didn't open it up until October 2020.
Okay.
21.
And
It was at the newly remodeled Wayne Middle School, which is now ECAT, Erie's Community Arts and Technology Center.
Okay.
It's a beautiful facility, beautiful gym. It's the same floor as Wayne Middle School, but it's been refurbished, and business is picking up.
Right. How do people get involved with that if they want to get involved?
I'm gonna have a website, shampoolsports.com. They can go to the website and all the programming is there. I'm currently working on an after-school program and a summer program for our youth to come in and get skill development,
Okay.
and also math and literacy programs.
That's awesome. Awesome to hear. So let's go back, Shannon. Can you tell everybody where you grew up, what city, what state you grew up in?
Well, I'm born and raised in Erie, man. I'm an Erieite.
Okay.
Grew up my earlier middle school years at on 17th Street between Harlan and German. After my 8th grade year, we moved out on Buffalo Road on camp housing. So I grew up out in the Harley area. Went to East High. After East, went to I'm about to say Strong Vincent. Went to Slippery Rock University.
Right. Did you play basketball at East or Slippery Rock? Did you play basketball in school?
Played basketball at East. Played basketball. I did a little track, but basically basketball was my, it's in my DNA. I started playing in the 4th grade.
Right.
I went to a parochial school called St. Patrick's, which is no longer there. From the 4th to the 8th grade, and after 8th grade, that's when I started going to East.
Okay. So let's talk about your coaching. When did you first get into coaching? Was your head coaching experience the first coaching experience you had, or were you an assistant before that?
I started off as an assistant. I actually started up at Central as a JV level. A mentor of a lot of guys that were growing up was Alan Poole. I ran into Alan Poole at Dee's cigar store. If anybody knows Alan was always walking. So I asked him, "Do you need a ride?" And he said, "Yeah." So gave him a ride. We were talking. He he called me Poole. His name was Poole, but he called me Poole. He was like, "Poole, man." He said, "You ever think about coaching?" I said, "No, not really. You know what I mean? I love the game, and I've been away from the game because this was like a couple years after I graduated from college." And he was like, "Well, I'm doing the JV job up at Central." He said, "I need an assistant." So, I told him I would help him. We started. And like 5 games in, we was going to practice. He said, I'm quitting. I'm resigning.
Right.
And I was like, "What you mean?" He said, "Man, this is my way of getting you in." You know what I mean? So he was like, "I'm going to turn the reins over to you." So, he stepped away. I finished out the year. I became an assistant the year after up at Central under Rick Emmerich. After that, Rick, he basically resigned. So me not knowing the politics of the Erie School District, I'm thinking I'm next in the line.
Right.
You know what I mean? Never got an interview. You know what I mean? It came down to, it's ironic because the same thing that happened there when Vincent closed happened like 20 years later, 18 years later,
Wow.
20 years later.
Wow.
And it came down to politics and the contract.
Right, the union contract.
So with that, I was out of coaching them, but I wasn't out of coaching long because Cass Wright had gotten the job over at Vincent as a head, and he brought me in as his assistant. He stayed for 1 year, and he resigned. So once again, it's an opening, and I'm not in the union.
Right.
But it was a good thing. Dr. Dixon was the principal Dr. Armenia Dixon was the principal at Strong Vincent at the time. And she pulled me in, and she was like, and this is her exact words, I'm bringing you in through the back door. You know what I mean? Basically, she was gonna make it happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, and I've always been grateful for her because she stuck her neck out and she did what was right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that stuck with me because that's what, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for her uplifting another minority African American, it would have never happened.
Right.
And that's my platform as a coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's about uplifting. It's about uplifting our kids. It's about uplifting, you know, our coaches. Because if we don't uplift one another, ain't nobody gonna give us a chance.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, even with, you know, the situation with Erie High, it came about, you know, when they closed the schools. I knew when we sat down in a meeting, when they said they was doing the co-coach, I knew right then I wasn't gonna do it. You know what I mean? But I had to make sure that we had some representation on that coaching staff.
Right.
And that was the reason why I did that. You know what I mean? But it's been a long journey. You know what I mean? I've been around the game since the 4th grade. It's in my DNA. It's what I do. I think this is my way of giving back. You know what I mean? I think this is my mission to try to make an impact on young men and young women's lives. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether, you know, and I had a rough road a couple years ago, you know what I mean, with the situation that happened with my son and another former player, Rashid, you know, and, you know, my program was split up, the city was divided, you know what I mean?
Right.
And with what we did at Strong Vincent, that kind of mended a lot of people's hearts. And
Brought people back together.
Brought a lot of people together, and it you know, that was huge.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So when you took the Vincent program over as a head coach, like what was was it like a winning program? How was the program doing when you took it over?
Well, when I took the program over, we had 14 players in the program. That was varsity and JVs. It was, and to be honest, and this is another thing. I think the only reason that they gave me the job, I think that they was talking about closing, shutting the sports down in Vincent.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think, you know, say, hey, you know what I mean, just give it to them.
Just go ahead and give it to them.
You know what I mean? But you know, I'm a chameleon. I'm a grind. You know what I mean? And I think we struggled for the first 2 years. You know what I mean? I think we lost like 33 straight Metro games, included, you know, before I took over. I think it was our 3rd year we won a game in the Metro, and then next year we won the whole thing, and we never looked back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
How long were you at Vincent?
I was there 18 years.
And then so you took the program from basically the bottom to your last year. You took the team to a state. Was that the last year's state championship, right?
Yeah, we lost in the state championship, but you know what I mean. After that 3rd year, we never had a losing season. You know, but the most important thing to me was I never had a player that was ineligible. You know what I mean?
Right.
My players graduated. You know what I mean? My players went on to college, whether they went to football, whether they went to basketball, or they went into the service. You know, so you know, in anything, you always have some that don't pan out, or you know, some, you know, but overall, you know what I mean, very, 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 very proud of the guys that came through my program.
Right. I see one of your former players has just played in the Division II national tournament basketball. Does that make you happy to see when you see Gabe Morris doing that?
Yeah, that was, you know what I mean, actually made the trip down. You know, couldn't miss that. You know what I mean? Just 5 years ago, we was in Hershey, going to Hershey. So when he made it to the Elite Eight and they played Tuesday, and I told him, I said, y'all win Tuesday, I'll be there Thursday. You know what I mean? So me and my wife made the trip down there. It's an 8-hour trip to Evansville. Was able to, you know, to watch them play. Unfortunately, they didn't win. You know what I mean? You know, we went out to eat. You know what I mean? It was, you know, it was good just to catch up with him. Very proud of his accomplishments.
Right, right. Another one of your former players too, so you know you can see the fruits of your labor. Is now the head football coach at Erie High School, right? So I mean that's got to make you.
That's another one. You know what I mean? That I'm proud of. He was one. Arnie, we call him Arnie, Coach Henderson. He was instrumental in changing our program around.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the team that won the Metro. He was a sophomore, and I remember we were playing in the game, and I think we were down. I think we were playing. I think it was a Metro game, Metro championship game. We were down to prep. We were down. I think it was 25-9 at halftime. You know, and I called on Arnie, man. Before I could turn my head, he was up. You know, running. You know, he was ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I tell my players, the ones that were coming up, if I had 5 Arnies, we wouldn't lose.
You would lose
you know
no
what I mean?
game.
Because once he became a senior, you know, we made it to the Western Finals. We lost by a point,
Mm-hmm.
and it was he was our defensive stopper.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to see him get that head job, you know, it was a proud moment. I'm happy for him. I know he's going to do a great job. You know what I mean? He knows what it takes. You know what I mean? He's played at the next level. You know, you know that's great.
Right. Coach, one thing I noticed on all the teams that you've coached, I noticed that your guys play like 100%. They give you 115%. Looks like. How do you always imagine? Like, how do you always get that out of your players?
Basically, that's what we preach. You know, we actually give 110%. You know, in practices, you know, our practices used to be wars. You know what I mean? It wasn't no backing down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It wasn't no softness. You know what I mean? So that's what we preached. You know what I mean? And like I tell them, my personality on the court is different from my personality off the court.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? On the court, you know what I mean? I coach the game like I played the game, and that's how I play.
Right.
You know what I mean? But off the court, I'm laid back, easy going, you know what I mean? Very observant. But when I coach, and a lot of people take me the wrong way because they think how they see me coaching is how I am as a person. You know what I mean? But that's not it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know what I mean? That was our staple. You know what I mean? We gonna give 110%. You know, we didn't say hey, let's play with tenacity. Meaning, let's play with a hard effort and let's play with a chip on our shoulder.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? That's, you know what I mean? They used to laugh at me. Tenacity, yeah, tenacity. That's what we gonna play.
Right. We want to play. Right. So you, after your high school career, you took a brief stint and you coached at college level. What's that like? Was that different than high school? Can you tell us a little about?
When I actually coached at the JUCO level in the Vincent last year at the same simultaneous.
Okay, you're doing both.
Yeah, but the difference between the JUCO and high school, I would say, it wasn't really. It was just really the shot clock. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But out where I was at, it was a difference. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? At that level, you gotta be able to. You got to be able to have the personnel and the players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was at Mercier's Northeast, and it was 29,000 to go to a JUCO, but we couldn't give up no full scholarships.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we had scholarship money, but it was hard to get. It was hard to get players, you know, that to be able to compete the way you wanted to compete.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I love the experience. You know, it helped me, you know, become a better coach. It helped me become better organized. It helped me with because you know I ran the budget. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did the travel, but and to be honest, I did the same thing at at Vincent, but I didn't know. I didn't have the budget. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it helped me. You know, from a business standpoint,
Okay.
it helped me out.
Right.
Then I was fortunate enough for Coach Kelvin Jefferson. I was a volunteer assistant at Gannon last year, and that took me to another level. You know what I mean? To see really, because I was running Mercer's Northeast like a high school program, because that's all I knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? But being under Coach Jefferson, I saw how to run college program.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah, and that's how I'm running Keystone Academy. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So, you know what I mean? I learned a lot. You know what I mean? Under Coach Jefferson, I was, you know what I mean? I was paying attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Not to say that I didn't, you know what I mean? X's and O's wise, you know, but it was more so of the structure of running.
You knew the
college
game
program.
already, but you
Yeah.
still picked some stuff, were able to pick up
Yeah.
some stuff that you use now in your coaching.
Yeah.
Right. So now you are the head coach of Keystone Athletic Academy, the Kings, I believe, right? Can you tell us what that's all about? How did it come about? The last season, things like that.
Well, it came about. It's been a 2-year process. Corey Coleman, who was a Central Tech, you know, a grad.
Right. So Corey Coleman,
Yeah.
right.
Yep, and I actually was, when I was the assistant coach, what I said earlier, with under Coach Emmerich, it was Corey's senior season. And also, Corey also coached with me for, I think, 13 years at Vincent. So, you know, Corey, basically, he's a go-getter, you know what I mean? And I know he's been in the platform with AAU, national AAU programs. And basically, he's just building a table for opportunity for our kids to get exposure. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's basically what Keystone Academy is. We're playing at a national elite level. You know what I mean? This was our first year, and we played against a couple of ranked teams. But you know what I mean? This is the lane where a lot of college recruitment is happening in the summertime in these prep schools.
Right.
And you know, this is huge. You know what I mean? It's new for Erie. It's unfortunate that that we're not. You know, a lot of people don't know about it. You know what I mean? But it's it's a stepping stone, and it's only gonna get better. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if I explained. But it's basically it's a 9th through 12th program. We play a national schedule. Our kids are from all around. We had two Erie kids last year. Delquan Warren and Marquell Darnell played with us.
Right.
And I mean, this is good basketball. You know what I mean? We play with a shot clock. It's high level. We play against high level elite athletes every game. You know what I mean? And the Erie community needs to come out and check this out. You know what I mean? The Bayhawks are gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is the hottest ticket in town. You know what I mean?
Right.
We had an event back in February where we had Kanye West's prep school up here and another couple of other national programs. We had Coach Calipari from Kentucky was in here seeing a couple of players. DePaul was in here, Duquesne, Dayton. So
you're attracting colleges, big name colleges,
yeah,
to come see players.
Yeah.
Which really, probably in the past, they weren't really coming in like that to see just the high schools.
Yeah.
Right.
In our preseason workouts, Pitt was up, TCU, Alabama, Kent State, Akron, Pitt. I don't know if I said Pitt first, you know what I mean, but it's, our kids are getting exposure.
Right.
In our travel, we've been down to Charlotte, we've been to Atlanta, we've been to Orlando, Dayton, New York, New Jersey, Philly. We've traveled.
Right. So like for the off season, is that season going to start again? Like when's it start off for you again?
It never stops.
Okay, it never stops.
You know what I mean? Like our season's over. We're getting back into this. Our season was over 2 weeks ago. Okay. So we gave them off. We're starting back skill development. This week they lift every Tuesday, Thursdays, and just Tuesdays and Thursdays they lift. We do individual skill development. You know what I mean? And it's basically we're preparing them for college.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got personal trainers. We got coaching staff. Individuals and stuff like that.
Right.
Study hall. So we basically preparing them for.
So you're getting them ready for the next level. You get the whole program and the goal. Right. So just to recap, I know you were talking about the Shannon Poole Sports. If you just want to tell us about that again, just before we end the interview. Once again, we're here with Shannon Poole. He was a former head coach of Strong Vincent. He also coached at the collegiate level. and currently he's the coach at Keystone Academy Kings. He's also the owner of Shan Pool Sports. So if you want to tell us, just remind us about that
Well,
again.
it's just little kids leagues, youth leagues, adult leagues, tournaments, skill development or personal training. I have a Dr. Dish shooting machine if people want to come and hone their skills and get shots up. And basically I'm working on an after-school program and a summer program. The summer program is a go. After-school program will be for next fall.
Okay.
And that'll run from September until the end of school. But the summer program will start in June and run to the end of July. It'll be Tuesday through Thursday from 9 to 2 with skill development and academics.
Okay. And for Keystone Academy, if like an 8th grade parent is interested in like, hey, I like what I saw last year, I think that's the track I want my son to be on or my daughter or whatever. How do they, are there trials for locally?
To be honest, we recruit. We recruit. We recruit. This is not everybody can play at this level.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, we're going to be honest. We have to have hard conversations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes and say that they want to play a trial, we'll give them a trial, but we're not. This is elite basketball.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you can't play at this level, we're not going to waste your time, and we're not going to waste your money.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's how that works.
Right. So to finish up, Shan, when you look back at your basketball career, when you decide to, I know you're just going up from here, but if people said, right, if you to characterize your career, what do you want people to remember, like Coach Pulliam as? Who is Coach Pulliam as a coach?
I basically want them to know how I am. You know what I mean? I care about my community. I care about the kids. You know what I mean? And I'm firm, but I'm fair. You know what I mean? And basically, I'm a straight shooter. So X's and O's. Yeah, I'm a competitor. I want to win. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what does that get you? You know what I mean? I want to make an impact on young people's lives. So when they talk about me, they say, "Hey, he made an impact." That's the most important thing to me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to win, but
you want to win in life. You want them to win in life too, not just on the court.
It.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank Coach Pulliam for being here from Keystone Academy. Shan, we appreciate your time, man. Honored to interview you. Good luck with everything you do.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.